Good morning, everybody. It's David here once again, and what a beautiful day it is. Well, not really beautiful for my mental state. And I don't know, guys. I woke up today just very bloated, looked fat, looked puffy. Definitely did affect me somehow. I was definitely questioning and second guessing if I'm just ruining my lean bulk because I have eaten too much calories. But furthermore, what really made me just have a shit mental state internally is I realized that after I was meditating, I realized that I'm starting to lose hope. And a few days ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, I read this article. Didn't really read it, but the title really caught my attention. It says the reason why Gen Z are burning out is because they don't have hope. They don't have hope and they grind every single day, grinding as if you're you're trying to mine for diamonds, not knowing if there's diamonds or not having a roadmap, not having guidance whatsoever, and you're just there digging and digging and digging and digging, not knowing exactly when to hit. But when you lose hope, guys, as I had experienced for a short, brief moment today, oh boy, it made me really re-question my whole life. It made me really re-question if going to the gym, if working on my application, if even finishing my application, would it be useful? Would the user use it? Would the market like it? All these thoughts were just rushing through my head. And even like I thought about maybe I should just accept mediocrity. Maybe I should just not do anything and then just, you know, eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, play games all day, and heck, even freaking go back and taking drugs. Obviously, I don't condone that shit, but that was the thoughts that I was having. And frankly, with you guys, before I meditated, I did not know that I was losing hope. I just had this internal conflict that's happening within me this morning, and it was just a feeling like you don't want to do anything today. Like you just simply don't feel like it's necessary to do the work. You feel like that you can just do nothing and be fine. And it is this exact thought that it turned out eventually to be that I was losing hope. And I guess the reason why I think I'm losing hope is, you know, I was very excited to watch Iman Gotzi's live stream on the Making Money Online 2.0 challenge, but I didn't follow through with it because I realized that I want to really build my application. And I was afraid that if I commit to that thing, then I won't have time to commit to this thing. And because I didn't want to commit to it, I didn't sign up for the course. And when I didn't sign up for the course, there's something just changed in my psyche. It's like, David, you know what? You're not competing for anything. You're not enrolled in this course. So, and in that moment, like in that instinct, I just lost hope. Welcome, Wilford. Welcome to the stream. Just talking about my little internal conflict at the moment before we start today's grinding session. But when I stopped doing the course, so when I didn't sign up for the course, and there was no like leaderboard to fight for, there's no like prize to fight for, there's no like roadmap and tactics for you to follow, for me to follow, I lost hope. And this moment today, I woke up, even though I have a lot to get done for my application, I just felt like, you know what, David, like maybe you can just not do anything today. Maybe you can just, I don't know, play games, watch TV. Maybe you should go on the dark web and order some drugs again and just do that. Obviously I don't condone that shit, but when you lose hope, and that's how you burn out, because you don't know if every single day you're waking up fighting for something that is just totally not going to work. And when you had that thought like just constantly, right, and you don't realize that that thought you're having is actually just a feeling, and it's not real, right? It's not real because you simply just you lost your vision. You lost track on what made you start in the first place. And sometimes if we don't realize that this feeling of complacency, or this feeling of like you don't have to do anything today. It's just that you have lost hope. And if you don't realize it, then you're gonna try to contribute to this as a limiting belief, and this belief will manifest into reality. And eventually, you won't do anything. Eventually, you'll wake up and you will, overeat. Eventually, you wake up and you will not go to the gym, and eventually, you'll just you'll regress in life. And when that happens, like it had happened a lot to me before. Like you don't know when you will put yourself back up. And sometimes it can feel like a long time before you find any purpose in life once again. But, today, you know, we managed to get my internal state, sorted. And I think that's very important to do, like just self-reflection, even just like 10 minutes of meditation, just really sitting there with your thoughts, not fighting your thoughts, and just try and just look and observe, like, why am I feeling like this? And it can be uncomfortable, and you do want to fight that. You do want to like fight off this thought. You don't want to feel like you're nothing. You don't want to feel like that, people rejected you because you ain't shit. But you want to try at least observe why it is you're having these thoughts. And eventually, if you do this constantly enough, you'll realize that, okay, I'm feeling like this because, maybe someone in high school called me ugly. Maybe, I'm scared of, the public because I was watching this movie as a kid, and then, the main character was, penalized for being so, outgoing or whatnot. It's just like these stupid things we hold on in our childhood that tends to make our identity as an adult, until we realize that shit, the things I'm actually scared of was just so trifling. And really, like, looking at it now, people grown up, we're not in high school anymore, we're not in primary school anymore. Therefore, life changes. So yeah, today, at least I realized that my internal demon was losing hope. And yeah, I mean, it definitely sucks. It definitely was a setback. Not really following through with, buying the course and, making this digital product like I had wanted to as a way to make income while I make the app. But then again, guys, it's just choosing to make the commitment that and believing that what you are doing is going to work. And like I said before, guys, even if what you're doing is not going to work, right? Even if you don't work, like, you'll never know until you actually try. And a shit idea with like unbeatable execution will be worth something, right? This is why, like, you'll go online, you'll go to the store, you'll go to Amazon, and you'll find these very shit products. And you may even be one of those people who buy them yourselves, right? Like how often have you bought something from online, whatever, that costs you like a few bucks, and you just never tend to use it? Right? I bet there will be like tens and hundreds of those products you bought in your whole entire life. They may not be a good idea, but the person who made it choose to commit so hard that they managed to get something so shit, like maybe a rubber duck in front of you, that eventually you said, you know what, I'm going to put that thing in my bathtub. But like, what is it doing? Nothing, and that's really just, but yeah, like, you have to like have this hope and believe that whatever you are doing, whatever you are making, is going to work. And those who don't tend to make it work, what I believe in is because they choose to just cut themselves short. They'll build a prototype, they will make this amazing application, make this amazing product, but because they constantly think that, oh, this won't work, or perhaps they're afraid of criticism, they're afraid of what, putting themselves out there, perhaps being like an influencer, would do to them, and they may be scared how people will judge them. All these things is what actually cuts one's potential short. It's not who you are, it's not what you're doing, it's not the way you are doing it. Is, do you believe you can actually do it? And that, is different for everybody. Anyways, so yesterday, was that even a word? Yesterday, we managed to complete the tracking. Oh boy, it works, boys. It literally works. I'm so happy. So yeah, this is supposed to track like analytics, right? You go to like any application will have an analytics, right? You go to MyFitnessPal, You log your food every single day, and you can go back on weeks and months, whatnot, and view your data, right? A finance app, you can view like your monthly, weekly spending, whatever. This is pretty much the same thing. And I'm saying it works because yesterday we tested the app and we made sure that we're getting points. And as you guys can see, September the 30th, but that's pretty small. And today we log back on, which is October the 1st, and it is currently working. And if to my hypothesis, if we create a task for say like you know let's let's keep our language PG for now, right? Let's just say, you know what, today going to, you know, create my camera functionality, probably spelled wrong, and we'll put that as a low priority, and let's put that as work, all right? And then we'll create that task, and we'll complete it. Wait, where is it? By the way, if you guys noticed that, it was a little bug. So whenever we first create a task, it seems like it'll create a duplicate, and when we do tick it off from my task, it kind of unchecks. So we're gonna fix that eventually. But let's say, all right, so we completed the task, and we should get points for this. Go to tracking, and we did 10 points, as you guys can barely see. Now, if we go here and edit this, with which we can't, as you guys can see, there's another bug. So a lot of bugs on my application right now, because this should not go outside the view of your phone. You shouldn't do that. But let's just, tick some more tasks off. We should. Okay, so that's not working, which means these tasks were created yesterday. And since they were already ticked off or created in our database, that means the task would not recreate again in our today's database, which makes sense because we don't want to allow the user to spam task that they have done already, but rather completing these tasks should delete the task. But just to show it works again, just going to drink plenty of water, right? Let's put that as health. Let's do that as high priority. So we should get more points for that. All right, this is a good example. So we can see like there's two copies of it made, right? Now if we tick one off, as you can see, it's not actually marking it. So, some glitch there, but if we complete it, we go to tracking, boom, 60 points. So we are getting the points as respectively. The categories are the same. Obviously, no hours is accounted for that. Monthly graph and all-time graph, this needs to change because this really shouldn't be showing daily data. But, task completed is correct. Yeah. Cool. And again, obviously, this is 12 11 pending, 1 completed, right? And this needs to be made responsive today, meaning that it should actually change based on your completed and pending task instead of just being like a static circle. And this obviously isn't working right now because this is getting the data of your hours done. At the moment, completing a task will only give you points. And I'm thinking about adding like a Pomodoro timer to check your hours because, screen time, we could do that. That's still something I should think about. And I really should plan this out. But because, when you don't plan it out carefully, you'll tend to go back and rewrite your databases, which is something I have done for this app twice already. But definitely practice is great because now I actually understand how to do it more efficiently. But yeah, so that at least shows the monthly view, which is amazing. Yearly view, monthly, of course, and all-time view, we have quarter views. All right, so that's good. Home feed's working, like button's working, dislike button's working. Obviously, another glitch, like the toggle isn't really the best. There's a little bit glitch, and you can add 2 instead of 1, which is not too like crazy. But yeah, a lot of things to get done today. But you know, let's start with something which which I believe will be the hardest. Okay, we should learn actually how to code or how to prompt better. But yeah, let's start with what is that? Task unchecked should be removed from task module. Task unchecked should be moved from task module. Okay, so okay, so task unchecked want to be moved from task module. I think what I meant by that yesterday, which I was totally like just fatigued by the way, guys, is I believe that whenever I delete a task or whenever I uncheck a task, the task should be actually removed from task daily snapshot, which just trying to think, because if you remove the task from daily snapshot, what that means is it'll also remove the total snapshot. So if we create a new task, or if we because then that will mess up the data if user decides to. Because I know in a lot of productivity apps, you have the option to, reselect the task. But if we made sure that a task, okay, let me think about the situation. So I said I want to delete the actual daily snapshot from my task. If I uncheck it, then that means if I delete it from a task from yesterday, it means my history will also be deleted. And if I remark that history as completed today, then the data will totally be, messed up. Instead, what I can do is whenever a task is completed, because really, like when you complete a task, would you, like, it should be deleted, right? You wouldn't like redo the task twice unless you need to. I think so too. Like when a task is deleted, it should be deleted. That'll make the process more simpler, and it'll, prevent the user from doing the task twice. But then again, all right, I'm going in circles. I think I've been prompting with AI too much that I am picking up this habit of just going in circles. Like, what am I trying to articulate here? So, first of all, what is it that I want to do? I think the reason why I wanted to do that, because whenever I uncheck a task after completing it, like the points will go away, but the categories will still show. But it shouldn't really matter if the categories show, because the hours will still be taken away. But then again, how would we structure it? Because if we are doing a Pomodoro timer for each task, right, for our productivity, then that means if we do like 3 sessions of 30 minutes, for example, and that's like a task complete, and then we mark it as complete, and then we go ahead and mark it as incomplete for whatever goddamn reason, then it means that it'll take away the whole hours that we have put into it, which again will ruin up our statistics and a not great way to store data. Because even on a finance app or whatever, you can accidentally log a wrong data and you want to delete the data. But you can't really just delete time, can you guys? Because why would you be there logging wrong time? But now I'm trying to think about preventing like just these dumb little bugs that could happen. Like if I can fix that issue, then that means like eventually that like if somebody does choose to, undo the task, unless we store two different databases or two separate flattened data structure with a Pomodoro tracked time for each task and use that data to populate the statistics. I am going in circles. Hold on. You know what? Let's just create the Pomodoro UI first. And do I even want to create that though? Do I want to even create that? I haven't think about this thoroughly yet. You know what? Let's just do one thing first. That really got me tripping out, guys. Because yesterday I wrote I want the task to uncheck. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to uncheck a task. To delete the database. It doesn't make sense. Because the snapshot is created already. What we can do actually, guys, is make sure to give the user the option to segregate or segment their task into these different work blocks, right? These different short bursts of focus. And I think what we're going to do for the UI is add like an animation that it will fill up the bar with a color or whatever, depending on how much like the task is completed, right? We can do that actually. That'll look pretty sick. And that will work with our Pomodoro. Let's do that. Let's do that. That means we have to change our database somehow. Because at the moment, task is only getting category completed, created at date, hours, points, priority, snapshot created. It needs to also get... No, that means our Pomodoro action. that would allow the user to use when focusing completing and the user can set the total amount of focus sessions needed to complete that task, meaning the task itself can be broken down into segments, segments. How would you propose existing tasks, daily snapshots, or what? How tightly? What does that even mean? How tightly? Option 1, extend task daily snapshot. If sessions are tightly tied to daily progress. Okay. That could work. So pros, like if I add this to my existing daily snapshot, meaning that is like it is a total daily update of the task, meaning that once you complete a task, and it'll create a snapshot. Any changes you make to that specific task will update that snapshot, but you cannot make multiple copies of that same snapshot, right? That is like a daily snapshot. The pros are here, obviously, keeps everything in one place for daily analytics, easier to chart session progress over time, ideal for calendar-based navigation. Cons are harder to track session metadata, interruptions, notes, etc. Less flexible if sessions span multiple days or are reused across tasks. If sessions span multiple days or are reused across tasks. That may be tricky, actually. That means it will limit the user to create long-term goals. But then again, that isn't really the idea of my application, right? My application is to finish it now, meaning that you have to do everything today. The original idea was to create an Eisenhower matrix and only limiting the user with the ability to create upwards of 7 tasks per quadrant. Obviously, even now, I think that's a bit too much. So thinking about it, perhaps I don't need right? To create these the ability to extend the task off till tomorrow, but rather the user should know what they want to get done today. And I think that is important because having long-term goals are great, but if your long-term goals are stretched so far apart and you're not getting any increments wins in the middle, then you're going to feel like you're not making any progress, right? Because eventually your internal conflict, your internal doubt will catch up to you unless you make some tiny wins. So I think we might just go with implementing this into our daily snapshot and just leave out the ability to, track the sessions over like a course of period of time, because even that makes no sense at the moment with our task daily snapshot, right? But yeah, it's right. Like, we can't really also track like how long user is taking in between each session duration, meaning that eventually understanding like the user's behavior may be a little bit inconsistent because you don't know how long like a user is taking a break in between each tasks. But then again, I think we can add in like a session break duration to check, but that's again never really accurate unless you actually check the whole user's session time per task or per app. Richer session data, reuse across task, or do couple session logic for daily snapshot. References. What does it mean though? I gotta stop worrying about mewing, guys. It's killing me. Top level node. Okay, so I see focus session 1, session 2. I get that. Task ID, task ABC. Okay. So aggregates, or I think that's how you say it, is a new word I learned where it means like a collection of data, right? So obviously this is not a collection of data, even though it may seem like a collection. These are individually. This is more like a group of data, should I say? So like the group of the same data. That is a aggregate. So aggregated. Summary layer, like okay. Right. So okay. We can do that. Yeah, we can do that. I think the reason why we have start date and end time here in the first session is because it's tracking through the whole, uh, you know, different sections of the task. But then again, it doesn't really make sense to only have this in session 1. Like, shouldn't this be persisted across session 2 and session 3? That's the only thing I'm a bit tripped up about. Same goes for this. Like, again, like session 2 doesn't have the actual user ID. By the way, guys, there's a lot of um, gibberish code that we will have to figure out eventually, which I may just spend a whole day looking over it and just trying to do, but we'll get it done, guys. I don't know why we are literally. Oh, we're not importing. We're just updating it. I was gonna say. And then we will just create our Pomodoro UI, which should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. And we will connect it. That's the strategy. So set up the database, right? Make sure we are updating the values correctly to the Redux, etc. And then all we have to do from there is literally just create the UI and set the Redux actions to dispatch the data from the fetched, database. Okay, so 468 lines of code. Is this really necessary? Like, really? Simple example component. Simple example component. So this should again be a very simple step. I'm just saying that, look, use the session completed in our focus session data to then update the completed session summary for our task daily snapshot, and do that for the rest. And when that is done, all we have to do for the tracking UI is to grab that data from task daily snapshot to display in our UI component. Nice, that's correct. Mhm. This means like an exclamation mark in front of a conditional, or like a like a condition means not. So if snapshot does not exist, return okay. Await remove session ref console.log. Await simple real-time service update snapshot with users. Okay. This is way too much unnecessary documentation and these files. Like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. So user completes focus session, complete focus session code, session status updated in database, update task snapshot with session triggered. Session status updated in database. Update. I don't know why, but I always feel like I'm short of breath. Maybe I am eating a bit too much in my current calorie range because I am puffy as shit also. I'm literally rereading the whole thing like 4 times now. Damn. Hold on a sec. This is insane. Hold on. User completes focus session. Complete focus session code. Session status updated in database. Update task snapshot with session triggered. Task snapshot updated with new stats. UI shows updated version counts. Cool. Okay. So now okay. Pomodoro tracker. When that's done, we have to create the UI and then we'll link that up, and it should be lovely, guys. Also, guys, lately I have not been reading like whatsoever. Like my bookshelf has not literally been touched for I don't know, like probably 7 days now, which is pretty damn scary. And I say to myself, David, you know what? Let's just focus on one thing, right? Let's just put all your focus on one thing. And literally, it feels like I finally have time for once. You know what I mean? But also, like, having a lot of time spent on one thing, like, yes, like, you have the time for to do that. But then again, like, I found that most of the time I use becomes kind of counterproductive. Like my focus will start to wear out and I'll just go in circles. I would, you know, redo the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different solution. Now, obviously, now I know not to do that. But without reading, like I feel like your knowledge starts to decline over time. You know, I'm a person and believer who don't think that you can just remain same and not be affected by the change of how the universe works, right? Everything around you will change, right? That's bound to happen. Whether that's, improving for the better or degrading for the worse. Now, you if you choose to remain the same, that does not make you immune to the change of the world, right? To the ever improvement or declining of the things happening around you. Eventually, you will decrease. Like eventually, your mental state will deteriorate if you don't do anything about it. If you don't improve, or if you don't, do anything about it. If you just can't remain the same. And although I say to myself, David, like the books you read, like yes, you're reading books, but you're always forgetting, you're not implementing the things you learned. And I just said to myself, look, like maybe I should just start implementing. Like if I'm reading the books and I'm not using anything for it, then essentially I'm just using that to waste time. But then I said to myself, you know what? Maybe you should still read, but actually, use the things you read each time. So don't read about, don't read about how to like play basketball if you are not gonna play basketball. And I think that is super important, right? I'll read these books, like you know, like a few like long time ago. I'll read books about how to pick up girls, how to get game, um, you know, books by Mark Manson, like models or something like that. And I'll read these books, and I'll read them, and I'll read them, and read them, and I'll understand how the sidekick works for ladies, how to like demographics, like you can hack your demographics by being in a place where you are mostly desired, and just being vulnerable, etc. Like yes, you learn these, but I was not going out there to cold approach. I was not going to the clubs, to to the library, to the shopping mall to use the things I learned. So at the end of the day, they just become like space in your mind that it just takes up space. Like yes, you know how it works, but you're not doing anything about it. So in a way, like when the time comes when where I do actually go out and meet wonderful people, then I'm bound to just be paralyzed by these thoughts, because reading about something does not make you confident. It just makes you a little bit, arrogant in a way, thinking that, oh, now I know how people act, and people are horrible, and all this bullshit, right? You get confident by doing something. You get confident by overcoming your limiting beliefs. And I think the book that would make sense for me to read now would to be rereading How to Win Friends and Influence People, because I literally go to work, right? I go to work, and I hate not being able to you know uh, communicate freely and really just be a good person in a way to lift people up and whatnot. And most importantly, like just refreshing my memory and just filling my mind with just a refresher, pretty much. And I think like some other books I would probably read is like how to like structure this properly, like how to structure your code and whatnot. because at least now if I read that book, I can use it. You know, it's like studying a subject in school, but you don't ever use it. It's like learning how to become a surgeon, how to, do a heart procedure. But you learn it, and you never actually do a procedure. Like when it comes for you to do a heart procedure, you'll be trembling because you never done it. You know like how to do it, but you never done it. And there's a big difference between knowing how and doing it. Like it's totally different. Anyways, we got the code and let's see how it performed. Set active session, set session status, set time remaining, set time elapsed time, set is running, set default duration, set current task, set collected task, selected task. Okay, so no, we don't need that. Set auto smart break, set auto start Pomodoro, set user session, set da da da. Async. So this is direct change to your UI component, and this is like background change. Like so this, like we don't want to wait for change to happen and to not have like a instant response on our UI. Like we don't want to press the start timer and there to be like a delay, right? That delay, which is caused by updating data to the backend, can happen in the background. So it may seem like it made like a duplicate copy of the same entire actions, but we want to have it so that we can update the UI instantly while this can happen in the background, That's why we have like extra code, but then again, like I could be totally wrong and talking out of my hole. And there's a better way to do this, which I do not doubt. But at the moment, let's just get this working. And eventually, when people actually start using the app, then we can try perfect it. But if nobody is using the app, right? If nobody is using the app, it does not matter how optimized you make it, because one user is most likely not going to break the app. 100, 1,000, yeah, then maybe optimization is important. But when you get to 100 and 1,000, your users can tell you other things that are actually wrong with your app that could help you get more users on your app than to fix some performance issues. Or you may have this bug, you may have this and that, but without having users to use your app, you don't know this shit, right? So, which is why I'm not too worried about optimizing it now, because I still have a lot to add, and also I don't know how to optimize that. That's why, but we will get to that eventually. We will get to that eventually. So, like this just looks like a lot more data. But this is just the UI, so this doesn't really matter. This is more like the session history right here. So this is what's going to be stored. But then again, like this, I don't know. It just feels like it should be fine. It should be fine. Cool. 40 plus selectors? That sounds a bit excessive, don't you guys think? Start your timer. Complete and clean up. Load screen history. Load task specific session. We don't need task specific session. Got it. Okay. use I wasn't typing. I'm not even sure if this is a button. I'm actually not sure that's a button. Okay. There should be a swipe. Yeah, so we need to connect that to Redux. By the way, guys, the reason why I think I'm getting very like puffy and shit is because I'm also like on a deload week, so not really pushing hard. So all this excess calories is just kind of going to my gut, which is not nice. But after this week is finished, it should be all right. I mean, this morning when I woke up, I literally looked bloated. Didn't use the bathroom because yesterday when I came back from the gym, I just pretty much ate all my food. I just cramped everything in one sitting. That may be the reason why I was a bit clogged up and a little bit bloated today. And doing that definitely made me want to just binge eat again. Like the reason I binge eat, guys, is literally I like to eat food. But it's like now I don't even like watch TV. Therefore, like I can't just sit there and just eat because I would feel so just shitty about myself. Like the only way I could like binge eat is if I watch TV and binge eat, because then I'm distracted from watching TV, and I'm also distracted from binge eating. So then it is like the recipe for total disaster, because I'm not paying attention to either, but I'm also like, amplifying the bad habit of both. I think Pomodoro will be the only thing we need as a productivity tool. Nothing really else if you think about it. Because that's the really other like way we're gonna track session, right? It's not like we could really like tracking user session across the whole app is nice. Again, that's something we are doing on the user level, but should not be on the task level. The task level will be done with the Pomodoro timer. But then you may ask me, David, what happens if I just don't use the timer and just click yes on the task? Well, that's the thing, my friends. We will figure it out. But at the moment, for tasks that need time to complete, that is the way we are going to track it. I think maybe another way we can track it, hypothetically, is to just track when the task was created. But that does not really make sense because you could create the task in the morning and it could be like walking your dog, but you're not gonna walk your dog for like 10 hours if you do it at nighttime to complete the task. That doesn't really make sense. So yeah, another way we can do it is when we set the task to focus mode, like to select the task. That is when it will start tracking it. You know, we can't even unselect this. I just realized we can't even unselect this. You know what, guys? I'm still gonna check out Make Money Online Challenge by Iman, because if that can be the way to not for me to earn a side income and not go to my job, honestly, guys, that's beautiful. Or I could just focus on this and make this my main priority, and just to just take it, to just take working a retail job. Okay, what did it do? What did it do? What did it do? Or I can start making better content. At this point on this channel, me trying to make better content is literally the joke. It's literally the joke of the hour. Like literally, I've been saying it for so many times, but I just keep going back and going back and going back to make the same shit. And 540 seems a bit too excessive. Let's see. Yo, ain't bad, guys. Ain't bad. Obviously, it's broken, but it's not bad. It's not bad. At least is getting the right task. So that's not bad, guys. It's not bad. What I do like though is if it will take up the whole screen instead of just half of it. Or there's a way where I could make it where it would literally be your lock screen. So if you so you don't have to have your phone open the whole time. It'll just be there sitting. Yeah, something like that. That would be pretty cool. Seems hard coded. rooms and how do you even set a time? No user ID. Toilet break. Okay, yes, I am wearing my Coca-Cola banana sleep pants because yeah, I'm got lazy again. Anyways, let's focus because we got a lot of things to get done, and it's already 9:30. So yeah, let's see. So that's in seconds. Okay. Huh? Not user logged in. That's weird. That's really weird because we are very much logged in. How do we use the console though? How do we actually use the console here? The fuck? Oh my god, how do I use the console? I know we can. Oh, they're right here. I'm so stupid. Store is not defined. This means that the AI forgot to actually define store, which is just an import. Pretty easy, but I just can't be asked going through the code to look for it. There we go. Yeah, I forgot the selector. Now it should work. Ready, guys? Ready? It's gonna be Christmas. That's pretty cool, isn't it? That is wow. Oh my lord. That's gonna use a lot of battery. I'll tell you that right now, guys. That is gonna use a shit ton of battery. Just this keep. Oh my lord. All right. First of all, let's pause this. Um, can we cancel it? How can we cancel it? All right, let's hold on. Great. Everything great is working. Amazing. That's gonna use a lot of battery. I could just imagine it's like that's gonna drain through your phone, I'm pretty sure. Let's go the actual finish and see. So focus session right here. Focus session. Date. Minutes, duration minutes, 0. Obviously, we didn't do any minutes. Start time. What is that? What? I cannot read that. 013. I don't know. I don't know like what time that is, but the date's right at least. Status active. That actually should be unactive because we are no longer activating it. Is running false. Time remaining time lapse. Session status paused. Time remaining. And this one is which one? Does it say? Drink plenty of water. Was it this one? Okay, so we have a problem. It is not actually getting the correct ID. So notice a problem. The what? Timer is visual tasks. The visual task is individual tasks. Can you check if because I realized there's actually none. There is though. There is a task ID. So if we create, let's just say G. We resume. We stop. Now we go to Firebase. Ah, look, there's no actual new ID. Isn't that surprising? There's no way to actually check this, is there? Ah. QQ. Tasks. QAS 8S. going to drink plenty of water. So no, it is not actually. So when the time starts, it is not actually grabbing the ID, which is I'm gonna do a timer that getting the correctly as Redux. You that doesn't really make any sense, does it? I notice a problem. The Pomodoro timer is getting the task ID correctly, as Redux states are displaying the unique task ID info. However, if I swipe left on any task, the timer seems to just remain the same as before. Meaning, we are using we're using one timer for multiple tasks. Completed. Record should causing this issue. I think I have a clear idea. Right. it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to have multiple timers running. I just thought it was a little bit weird to have the ability to go on a task and still like start the timer. I think. So how are we gonna do the interruptions though? Like, how does that work? Let's see. Productivity. Resume. Nice. We go out of here. We go to G. Okay, so that still works. Okay, so that's not entirely what we want. Um, pause button. I think yeah, if it like, I think the other way to minimize bugs is to make the functionality so restricted that there literally is no way to make a bug. For example, if we cancel out of this focus session, it would mean that the user is forced to cancel the session. Instead of allowing the user the flexibility and loophole to cancel it without having any without having like it's just hiding away the tab, right? And I think that's where bugs, like unintentional bugs, can slip up, is when you as a developer or anyone allows the user to have flexibility, right? To have too much flexibility where the user can do literally anything. And when that happens, there's no rules and boundaries, then you can go anywhere, right? It's like when you make a game, like in a game, you have a map, right? The creator made the map, which means there is boundaries you cannot cross, right? You cannot walk into a building if the developer made that building a simple like boundary, right? But if the developer didn't set that boundary there, then that means it can go through the wall, right? And that's a bug. So I think to think of it in a different manner, we are, as like making something, it's good to know when you should set these boundaries, right? When you should make certain actions like literally only linear. I think that's the right word. Like you can only go one way or the other. Like there's no other, you know, and that's much better. Like much, much better. Much, much better. Yeah, much better. Let's go ahead and delete the task first, because we have a bit too much here, guys, too much. Create a task. Shit. Testing out my Tomodora. Testing out my timer. Let's do a low priority this time, right? And that's the bug. It kind of just first of all pushes up to current focus, which is something we don't want. Bigger timer display. Nice. Okay. Obviously this is corrected, right? Yeah, so what if we, all right, so this should update theoretically in our snapshot, but yeah. All right, let's see what happens when we complete the task. Session complete, what happened? Completed, nice. Duration 21 minutes. That sounds a bit wrong. Duration minutes, 21 minutes. Yeah, that ain't right. Let's check for this one. Let me see how I set my time on my phone actually. If I go to timer, clock. Well, we actually don't have a view to do like a clock, like like the time function. It's just like sitting in like this, right? Like there's no actual. Is there like a way to change the view? Doesn't seem like it. But I do know some apps out there does give you the option to adjust it. There we go. Okay, it seems a bit wrong though. Hmm. Definitely. How do you spell definitely, guys? Holy shit, definitely. D definitely. There we go. Adjusting the time. But I was thinking. Was calculate the angle. Holy shit. We're into some math here now, guys. Literally. Let's see. Yo, that's more like him, boys. tells me faster adjustment. Still 60 minutes. 45 minutes. Still. Oh, the circle starts. I don't even know where the circle starts. Hmm. I realized. There we go. There we go. Now it works, baby. Now it works. This is taking forever, guys. Holy shit. This animation. Might have to do this. Like I might have to do this later. And just move on with other things. Like going to the gym. Like doing something else, you know. And when I come back, I'm gonna do. When I come back, guys, I'm gonna add my photo invitation. Today is back and bicep. Like before, it was doing it good, but let's copy this. Go to troubleshooting because I think we just did it right. Oh my god, this whole time again, I wasn't even showing you guys my fucking screen. At least you guys get to see my horrible jawline. Let's see. Yo, let's go, baby. We did it. Nice. Holy shit. Holy shit. I can't believe we did it, guys. I literally can't believe we did it. Let's go. All right, I'm gonna get out of here now. Get All right, guys, when I come back, we are going to do some more work. But now let's go to the gym. Let's eat. Let's be happy. And I'll see you guys